Hello everyone. In today's video I show you this game where I played the Dzindzi Indian from the black side. It's been quite popular over the past few years. There's a YouTube channel where there's a huge playlist on this opening and it inspired me to play this opening. So today I show you this game from my perspective with the black pieces, and it's the first time I've ever played it in any format, and it happened to be in a Blitz game today. So it started off with d4 from the white side. Then we played g6, c4, bishop g7. It's almost like a modern defense, but it can only occur once knight c3 is played. But the real continuation starts after you play c5 and d5 is where all the magic works. Because we sacrifice the bishop on c3 with check, and after b takes c3, we play f5, controlling the e4 square. And even though, despite being down the bishop and no longer having the bishop pair, we have good control and we leave white with a weak pawn structure. So after f5, we control the e4 square. And in this game, my opponent played g4, which is something I didn't really look at. But if it's a free pawn, you take it. So I just took it. They played e4, taking control of the e4 square, which is the reason behind g4. I found it a bit I found it the hard way, but it wasn't the end of the world. I played d6, just opening up the diagonal for my bishop on c8. They played h3, and I thought, okay, if it's a free pawn, I take it. We traded off bishops, and I developed my queen to a5. I'm just attacking the c3 pawn, which is quite weak, but with that, they develop with tempo as well. The bishop doesn't look too good on d2. It's it looks like a pawn actually, but okay. So then I continued developing with knight d7. They brought their knight to f4 and I played knight e5, looking to basically control the f3 and the d3 square. Even though I could not land on them, now I have some sort of control. Not fully though, but it's a plan in the future. So my opponent played queen e2. I don't know queen e2 because you can't really castle, but you can castle, but it's not something you would want to do any side. King side looks better though, but queen side is just losing if you castle queen side. So in the game I was thinking, okay, you want a castle because you move the queen out of the way and you make way to castle any side with the king. Now I just have to make this red. Yeah, any side. Because the king didn't move, the rooks didn't move, so castling was available for white. So I just developed my other knight to f6. The computer gives it a inaccuracy, but it's a developing move. I'm not a computer. My opponent planted his knight here on e6, which was a really nice move. It was always available. And now the knight is controlling the c7 square and the g7 square, but I can never land on c7 because of my queen on a5. So what I did is I wanted to take matters into my own hand, and I played b5, sacrificing a pawn because after takes I play c4 and I can plant my knight on d3 because I have a pawn on c4 and I can just cement the knight there. And after a4, just defending the b5 pawn, I played knight d3 check. Maybe it was a bit too soon, but if you want to attack, you have to attack soon. So after king f1, I played king d7. I didn't want to keep my king in the middle of the back rank. I can't say middle of the center, but and after f4, my opponent is striking. I was quite worried here, but because I was down 50 seconds as well. I have a minute and 50, and my opponent has a minute and 50. It's almost a minute. It's closer to a minute though, but so I played knight h5, going for at least making a one move threat with knight g3 check. So my opponent stopped the threat while attacking and setting up a threat of their own with queen g4. As we can see, the knight controls a lot of squares. Controls the the d8 and the c7 square, and I can't move my king back to c8 because there will still be a knight discovery. Therefore, I move my king to e8, just trying to get out of the way of any discoveries. However, the engine does recommend knight f6, which I did not think about in the game because I really didn't like any discovery checks, even though there's nothing immediately. But I do lose a pawn here, and I didn't think four moves ahead. I really didn't think four moves ahead. So after I played king e8, my opponent sacrificed a rook, which was the engine really likes it. I didn't agree with the rook sacrifice. I thought no, it doesn't work. So I took back, and my opponent played queen g7, which was the only continuation I calculated. However, it's a blunder, and it's more or less equal now. Engine gives it zero point 0.6 for white. However, they could have played queen h5 check, but I thought, okay, I can just go to king. I can just play king d7. But yeah, they could play queen f5 is what I thought, but I can always play king 8 and if knight g7 I just go to d8. But I didn't see, couldn't evaluate so far. So after queen g7 I just played king d8, king d7, sorry, just hiding my king away and ensuring the rook's always protected. And then my opponent decided to burst out into the center with e5, which was a bit risky because I found this nice move, queen b6. It took me 3 seconds. I'm just simply threatening checkmate on f2, which I thought was my only resource. So my opponent retreated, which is never a good sign. And I brought my rook to g8, my rook on h8 to g8, attacking the queen. The queen sidestepped to the h file. And what I did was I played rook to g4 with the idea of doubling up on the g file and eventually landing here on g1. So what my opponent did, they played knight g5, cutting off any potential doubling ups for me. But that allowed me to take the pawn on e5. And when they took back, I just brought my rook to the open file. And now it's checkmating 7. I didn't see the checkmating 7, but I knew I was winning because after king e2, which was the only move for the king to play, I simply played rook f2 check, forking the queen and the king, and my opponent resigned. And that was the first and only game I've ever played in the Dzindzi Indian, and it was really fun to play such a different opening and attacking opening. And thank you for watching this video. It's been a few days since I played this game. Actually, I think it's been a week, 6 days, almost a week. But yeah, it was a nice game to play, and I hope you watched till the end. Goodbye.